Hello guys and welcome to Vlogging Project. Today I've got the Xiaomi A1 in the house, the pure stock Android phone with a flagship flavor. Is that the spiritual successor of the Nexus line which everybody was waiting for so long, or is that just the next cheap Chinese iPhone knockoff which costs just about 200 bucks? Well, let's find out. Okay guys, I'm gonna start with a quick unboxing, but before that let's have a look at a couple of specifications of the phone. The screen is 5.5 inch LTPS screen, Snapdragon 625, 4GB of RAM, 64GB of storage, pure stock Android experience, dual camera setup at the back, both 12 megapixels, one is for 2x optical zoom. On the front we've got a 5 megapixel camera as well, and the battery capacity is 3080 milliamp hours of battery. Also, it's a 4G phone, so if you live in Europe there is band 20, so no worries about getting your 4G download speeds everywhere. Now let's see what do we have inside. Nothing else here. Over here we've got our SIM ejection tool, and inside we can find our charger, cable and some other stuff, some booklets as well to check the instructions. Now the charger itself is 5 watts, 2 amps, and because the phone doesn't support any kind of quick charging, in half an hour you're getting 27%, in 1 hour you're getting 57%, and 100% of battery you're getting just under 2 hours, which is pretty much expected considering the battery capacity of 3080 milliamp hours, and as well as that the phone costs only 200 bucks and doesn't support quick charging. Now in terms of design, the phone is absolutely beautiful guys. Android One inscription over here, fingerprint reader, the dual camera setup, dual tone flash, we've got some antenna cutouts over here. At the front is really nice and clean, we've got nothing fancy really, a bunch of sensors over here, that's our earpiece here, our capacitive buttons, and at the bottom we've got our 3.5mm jack, kudos for Xiaomi for keeping that, a microphone, USB Type-C port, and as well as our single mono speaker. At the top we've got our AR blaster and noise cancelling microphone. On this side we've got our hybrid SIM slot, and on this side we've got our power button and volume rocker, and let me tell you that that's pretty much the best setup I could have wished for. It's very nice and handy, your thumb lies directly onto the button and onto the volume rockers as well. The phone is very sturdy, it's made of metal, and the build quality is exceptional. Let me show you size wise. That's the Moto Z2 Play, by the way, again 5.5 inch screen. Size wise is more or less the same thickness, it's more or less the same size guys, nothing out of the extraordinary over here. And we're gonna put the OnePlus 5 to the game, actually the OnePlus 5T, that's the T, yes. I've got the review coming down in the next few days, by the way. As you can see, the same size as the OnePlus 5T, the same width as well, and the design of course is very similar to the 5T. The cameras over here, the antenna lines, which basically they both copy iPhone in this respect, and I really don't mind because I like the build quality and I like the design as well. Definitely it doesn't feel like a $200 device, it looks like, let's say, a $400, so actually kudos for Xiaomi for introducing such a high build quality in that phone. So what about unlocking the phone guys? You've got two options. The first option is to use the fingerprint reader, which is very fast and reliable. Check this out, it works absolutely 100% of the time. Probably it's not the fastest one out there, but it's definitely fast enough, and that's easily the best fingerprint reader I have seen on any $200 phone guys. I'm really pleased with the fingerprint reader. Now the other option you've got is face unlock with the front facing camera, but let me tell you something else over here. There's the OnePlus 5T, and the face unlock, it doesn't really work the same way. With the OnePlus 5T, check this out, when the phone is locked like that, you just point it to your face, and check this out, there's an instant unlock on the 5T over here. On the Xiaomi A1 the process is a little bit different as any other stock Android. Basically you press the power button once, You wait for the phone for this lock to appear, and then you swipe to unlock your phone. It works, it is reliable, but you know, it's not as quick as the 5T, and I'm expecting more and more phones to actually do this level of quick unlocking on other phones. But so far, these are the options you've got with the Xiaomi A1. Now, the first thing when you power up your phone, you see is the display. You'll be staring at it 4 to 5 hours a day, probably every single day. So basically, it's very vital for the display to be good. And on this Xiaomi A1, the display, unfortunately, is just good, guys. It's an LTPS panel. It's not overly saturated. It's, I would say, calibrated naturally, but it's a little bit too natural to my taste. So let's check this out. There are a couple of wallpapers over here, and let's have a look at them. I mean, it's a 1080p screen. I mean, it's okay, but it's just a little bit dull. I mean, you can't really see it on the camera, but it's not very saturated. I prefer the AMOLED looks myself, but for every other ordinary person, this display is going to be good enough. And now the next thing I've noticed is that there's a little bit of a, how can I put it, kind of a motion blur. I know you can't really see it on the camera, guys, but when you do something or when you scroll like that, you can see that the display has this sort of a, you know, a little bit slowed down animation and a little bit of a drag, which is again not a problem for the regular people, but it's just compared to the AMOLED screens. I mean, it's just here. And the other problem with this screen is when you go to settings and when you go to display, because that's a pure stock Android phone, you've got totally no customization of the screen whatsoever. You've got ambient display and wake the screen when you receive notifications, which is nice. You've got adaptive brightness, but pretty much that's it. There is no color calibration, saturation, and anything like that. Now, on the same phone, which is labeled as the Xiaomi 5X, basically that's the same phone, but with the Mi UI interface and available in China, you've got quite a lot of tweaks of the screen, which, you know, makes the screen better. But I guess it is what it is. And the end of the day, it's okay. We're talking about 200 bucks again. The screen is fine. There's a little bit of a black border over here, but it's really not obtrusive. And especially if you get the black version, you will never ever notice that again. Now, one nice thing are these capacitive buttons over here. I just love these buttons, guys. I mean, when you do something on the screen, they light up. I know you can't really see them as we speak right now because of the lighting that I have over here in my studio, but the thing is that again, stock Android is a little bit limited and you can't really play around with those buttons. You can't set the brightness and you can't set the timeout as well, which is unfortunate, but at least I like that the layout is the right layout. Back button, home button, multitasking button. Kudos for Xiaomi for doing this in the right order, guys. Now, when we talk about software, that's indeed the pure stock Android experience. Check this out. These are all the applications that the phone came pre-installed with. Basically, we've got absolutely nothing out of the ordinary except of the Mi Remote, which is the Air Blaster on top over here. That's necessary, and I'm really happy with the overall, you know, clean and stock Android. And in terms of updates as well, I can't be more happier because we're running Android 7.1.2 and the security patch level is from the 1st of December 2017. Now let me show you something else. Even the OnePlus 5T, which came out like 2 weeks ago, we've got Android version, let me see, 7.1.1 and the security patch level is of 1st of October 2017. I know OnePlus doesn't care about security, but that's not the case with the A1. You're gonna get absolutely the latest and greatest for Android. You're gonna get audio in the next month or two, I guess. So overall, the fluidity of the, you know, A1 with the Snapdragon 625, I can't really be happier, guys. It's very snappy and it feels very nice and fluid. Now, when it comes down to gaming performance, I can't really be happy about the gaming performance as well, because check this out. On Epic Citadel, I'm getting 47.8 FPS, guys, which guarantees a very high level of, you know, FPS through all games I've downloaded, and I've played a little bit of heavy games, And let me start up Mortal Kombat over here just to show you what kind of gameplay should you expect. Now, lighter games are absolutely a breeze. With heavy games like the Mortal Kombat, we've got just a little bit of a heating over here, but it's really not hot and it really doesn't ruin your experience. Now, the only downside you've got with this phone is that, yes, you've got 64 gigabytes of storage, which I really appreciate, plus a micro SD card slot over here. But the thing is that they had to cut some corners, and when opening up a heavy games like the Mortal Kombat and as well as installing some games, it takes a little bit of an extra time, guys. I mean, it's not exactly a flagship level of loading times, but once you download and install the game, as you can see now, I'm gonna demonstrate in a second, it runs very well, and I've got absolutely no complaints of the gameplay, guys. Pretty much is on par with the Moto Z2 Play, which rocks the Snapdragon 626 processor. The GPU is a little bit more powerful in the Snapdragon 626, but real life experience, you're gonna see absolutely no difference in gameplay, guys. And again, I'm gonna say this again and again, 200 bucks, the gaming performance is definitely a win. So let me show you something very quickly, guys. Just something like that. Let's see, what do we have? Okay, anyway, actually the loading times are not that bad. I mean, I was a little bit harsh, but I mean, Snapdragon 625, you can't really expect anything more. But check this out, everything is absolutely playable. There are no much frame drops, and I'm really happy with the gaming performance. There is no point for me showing lighter games, guys, because it's an absolute breeze with those games. So gaming performance definitely gets my thumbs up, guys. Yes, thumbs up. And now we're gonna move to the sound of the phone. Now we've got just one small mono speaker over here at the bottom, and the sound coming out of it, it's well, how can I put it, good enough. I mean, it's not of extremely high nice quality, and it's not extremely loud, but definitely gets the job done in most situations. Let me play something quickly. So again, bottom firing speaker, maximum volume, and let's check this out. Now, as you see, the speaker is not bad, but the thing is that when you play games on this side, you're always covering your speaker like that and you can't hear anything. Check this out. Now, when you flip it on this side, you're not covering the speaker, so you can play your game. Now, another thing, when it comes down to the headphone output, 3.5mm jack, and I can easily say that that's one of the best sounding phones I have ever heard in my life, guys. I've got totally no idea what kind of kernel tweaks Xiaomi did, but let me tell you that the sound quality coming out of this phone is absolutely phenomenal, guys. Now, if you haven't watched it, I did a video saying that if you've got a USB Type-C port, you can use the HTC USB Type-C adapter to boost the headphone volume a little bit. But in that case, you really don't need this adapter, because the sound coming out of the 3.5mm jack is actually louder than the excellent and very loud HTC adapter over here. So overall sound quality, absolutely thumbs up, guys. This phone absolutely rocks for especially headphone output. Now, what about battery life? So what do you think? Clear stock Android, Snapdragon 625 and 3080 milliamp hours of battery. Now, these are my statistics that I took screenshots of. That's my very first day of usage with this phone, guys. Setting up, applying 3 software updates. I got 4 hours 34 minutes. That's extremely heavy use, downloading all of my applications and updating everything. Now, on the next day, Wi-Fi only, 6 hours of screen on time, guys. The next day on 3G, 5 hours 37 minutes of screen on time. The next day, 3G or 4G or whatever, 5 hours 55 minutes of screen on time, heavy usage, guys. Now, I just wanted to show you what kind of, percentage of drain you've got when the phone is in standby. Now the screen 36%, Android system just 11%, and phone idle 9%. Now when Android system and phone idle are below 20%, I am happy. And let me tell you that one of the tests I did was I put my second SIM in and I've tried the phone how much is gonna last only with conversations and Bluetooth, and it lasted 7 full days, guys. So basically if you're using your phone only for conversations, you're gonna have absolutely no problem achieving that on the Xiaomi A1. Now the last screenshot of battery life that I have is 3 hours 38 minutes, but that's over 2 days of usage, guys. So basically if you're not that heavy user, 2 days you can get 3.5 hours of screen on time, which is very good, guys. And if you're a heavy user like me, in 1 day, basically from the morning until the night, and after that a little bit of Wi-Fi in the end of the night, or the opposite, charge it overnight, a little bit of Wi-Fi in the morning, and then all day on 4G, about 5 to 6 hours of screen on time, and that's with gaming as well. So battery life, I'm really feeling the battery life, guys. Excellent results to my book. Now what about the camera experience, guys? I've already posted a full comprehensive camera review in my channel, so make sure you click in the link in the description down below and check this one out. But if you're feeling lazy and you don't want to watch a 15-minute camera review, I'm gonna sum it up for you very quickly. The front camera is rubbish, basically. It focuses the background rather than your face, is very grainy, and pretty much for me it is unusable, unfortunately. But when we come back to the rear cameras, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Now the the rear cameras, I'm gonna say something controversial over here. The rear cameras in daylight are as good as the one on the OnePlus 5T, which costs 600 bucks, and the Xiaomi costs only 200 bucks. If you're following me on Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, there's the time to follow me. I've posted a couple of photos over there comparing these two cameras, and basically in daytime HDR, this phone takes better photos. So basically I'm very proud of this camera in good light. Now in low light things go tits up, and basically the camera experience becomes pretty much useless, guys. Absolutely useless. This camera is crap in low light. Now what about videos? The videos got no proper stabilization and it's not good. I mean the 4K is okay, but the 1080p is absolute rubbish as well. And now what about the telephoto lens? Now it gives you 2 times optical zoom, but because of the lower aperture, actually the higher aperture, 2.6 aperture compared to the 2.2 aperture, which means that the secondary camera is of a lower quality. And basically, yes, I like that. Oh, by the way, double press the power button and you're launching the camera. Now I like the feature that over here you've got, 2 times zoom straight away, and it automatically switches to the other camera. That's good, but quite often if you crop the photo yourself, you're gonna get actually a better quality out of the main camera. But at least, I'm glad that they've included the second camera, and it is convenient if anything else. Okay guys, so what does that leave us with the Xiaomi A1, the pure stock Android One experience phone, which pretty much reminds me of the Nexus line in a way. The Nexus, if you remember Nexus, they were offering, half price flagship experience with just 1 or 2 maybe deal breakers for some, which in this case is the screen. Unfortunately, it's a little bit washed out. It's a little bit not that much saturated, especially compared to the AMOLED screens. But on the positive side, I believe it's calibrated very well to the sRGB color mode, which means that the colors you see on the screen are going to be more true to life, and they're going to, be more or less exactly the same as what you can see with your own eyes, which is, you know, a lot of people might find that quite nice actually, but for me especially, and it's my personal opinion, I'm used to AMOLED screens and I really don't like that much of a washed out dull displays. But on the positive side, the display is very bright, guys, and you're gonna have problems, absolutely no problems in bright sunlight. So kudos to Xiaomi for that. And basically for 200 bucks, I can't really think of any phone which offers this amount of excellent flagship features, like the very fast and accurate fingerprint reader, excellent headphone output, excellent, you know, performance of the camera in daylight. Again, if you want to see the full camera review, click in the link in the description down below, guys. I've put quite a lot of effort in this video, so make sure you watch it. So yeah, pretty much that's it, guys. Make sure you subscribe to my channel as well. I've got the OnePlus 5T review coming down in the next few days. I've got the Essential phone and I'm gonna do a 360 degrees video with the Essential phone because I've got the camera as well, and I've got a bunch of other phones coming down. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Thank you very much for watching and see you later.